minor Google search for this the other day, and I don't know that there's a keyboard shortcut to minimize, only to maximize that I could find.
It's annoying. Sometimes be hard to find that minimize button. All right, so I'm going to have this set up like this. So I have to keep going back and forth. Cool. And then we have our documentation here. So we're going to take some time on these basic components, especially the view and the text. These are going to be like our core. So you can think of a view as just like a div. And then text is a way we have to use a text component if we want to display text. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead, go into our app.js. I mean, there's a lot in here right now. Let's get rid of all of this. Let's leave the safe area view. I'm going to actually delete our styles for now. I'm just going to keep, I want to just get this kind of looking cleaner. Get rid of this section. Don't need any of that. Background style, flow stuff. All right, and then here we're going to have a view component and then some text. Notice how this is doing live reloading. So that's all set up, so that's nice. Can make development quicker. All right, so we do have this one extra component, this safe area view. Let me just show, if I get rid of this, can't really, the yo's right there. We can't really see it because it's getting cut off. So all the safe area view is doing is they kind of created this component for all these new phones that came out with like these notches. So it just kind of starts our div right inside of here. So it kind of helps us not have to worry about doing this custom stuff for these notches. And with an iPhone, like some of the new iPhones, or this has been for a while, like they go all the way down. So like the screen's pretty much taken up all the real estate it can. Like an older iPhone would maybe be cut off, right? The screen would be like cut off along this line. So the safe area view is just kind of helping us keep track of that. Cool. So yeah, if I have this text component. Let's just see, like if I don't have the text component and I just try to do some text, I get an error. So you could do that in HTML. I actually think you can do this in Android. Like if you're running this in Android, that would work. But with an iOS device, we just get an error saying, hey, all of our text needs to be rendered in a text component. Because what's going on behind the scenes is these React components are getting kind of compiled or translated to the actual native code of the device. So for iOS, this text component's getting translated into like an iOS text object that iOS knows how to handle. And then for Android, it's going to be a different one. So let's just keep going. So let's look at their image. So let's find an image where we can just with the URL. So I think the image we just like, the nice thing about React Native is we just have this nice built out component library by default. It's kind of like just using semantic UI React. We have like this functional library. So we can just grab our image. Actually, image component.
I'm getting an error. I'm not really sure what it is.
All right, what's your error?
Hmm.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah.
I think these are good to like look at. Because these are going to be new errors. They're going to probably, yeah, they're definitely going to be new. A lot of them will be new errors. Nothing was returned from rendered. Okay, yeah, so this,
Oh, duh. Just right here.
yeah,
Okay, sorry, that was dumb.
very fine. But that's another thing. Some of the errors are going to be different, but some of them are going to be like that one. That's we've seen that error with React. We just forgot our return statement. We need to render some JSX. So let's go and do an image. And now we need the source.
Want to share your screen again?
Oh, thank you. And just go ahead and search for a image online. Go pull up the URL. So that's normally how we're going to be doing images with this class. So we just need a URL. I'll do it native. So I'm just pulling up a URL. Open image new tab. Oh, that is so long. Let me find a different one. Oh, so I can't find the variable. I need to import this from React. Oh, and this needs to be source, not src. Let's see here. Image. It's not letting us do a. All right, let's Google this. React native image URL. Oh, I need the URL. Let's try doing this. URI. Let's give it a style width. So something with the widths and heights, you don't use pixels, you just give it a number. You don't give it like pixels or anything. And we're going to talk about styling in 1 second. So I got to give it a width and a height. There's my image. So that's the next thing let's look at. Let's look at styling. So I don't want to do all this inline styling. So if we go back to the core components, we're going to see this style sheet. So, and this is going to be very similar to how we were doing inline styling with React. We're going to come down here and we're going to create, using the style sheet object from React Native, we're just going to create our styles. So it's very similar. Let's do, can call this styles. Let's create some variable, but I use this style sheet object. And I need to import this from React Native. And then I call the .create method. And that takes an object, and here I can just have all of my styles. Let's call this image. And then here I could throw that object here. Now, so that's very, right? That's a little different with the style sheet.create. Let's make this a little bigger. Now, something to note about styling, because styling, there's definitely some differences here, because this is not CSS. So I can't come here and do like a border, 3 pixels solid. I don't really see. That border there. What's another one? Like a border radius. Does that one work? Let's try doing a border radius. Oh, and I'm using pixels once again. Looks like actually border radius is working. What's another one? Box shadow. This is not going to work. Let's just try doing a box shadow. And see how we're getting this. This is actually something different. And this looks like it's just been changed a couple months ago, because when we did the border, it used to like break. So it doesn't really break anymore, but because this is how we do it with CSS. And I'm getting this spelled prop invalid prop type style key border. So saying that, I'm giving it a bad object to this image. So here are the valid like attributes we can style. It's not letting me, like, I don't have a border in here. What do I have? Like, I have a border width. I have a border left width. I have a border color. There's probably a border color in here. Border color, border radius. So these are the attributes I can style. So it's not CSS, but it's pretty close, right? So if we do want to do a border, let's try doing this. Like, we need a border width. Let's just give it a obnoxiously large border, 10, and then a border color. Let's do pink. So that works. And there's our border. Let's talk about alignment. So let's say like arrangement. If we want to do, if we want to like start aligning stuff. So let's say I come in here and make a container. The nice thing about React Native, how they do it, I don't think I need to say, well, everything is based on Flexbox with aligning stuff. So if I want to start, oh, and then I need to come in here and do style equal styles dot container. So now to style things, to align stuff, we use Flexbox. So that's nice. That's going to be very similar to CSS. Cool. What are other core components? So we have view, we have text, we have an image. We've talked about style sheet. Let's just do an input really quick. So they kind of look like they're using the use state kind of just like we've been doing it. So and it looks like they have a on change text event handler. There's a on change and on change text. These look like they're doing the same thing. Callback that is called when the text input text is changed, and callback that is called when the text input text is changed. Change text is passed as a single string argument to the callback handler. Cool. So we could look at both of those. So let's come in here and do a text input. So again, we just import that from React Native. Let's do some text right here. Where is it? Might need to give it some styling. Let's just do styles.input. Once again, grab this a border. I'm just going to copy these. What's a width? Let's see if we can just make this flex stretch. Flex form. Let's see if we give it a width 100% actually. So, our inputs there, we could, yeah, give it a border. It's not, let's just do it 1 and then black. Some padding. I'm going to give this a little bit of margin, my container. So there's my input. Let's go ahead and do our on changes. Let's call this text changed. So I'm getting an error. Oh, margin. Got that margin. Okay. Yeah, so now I have this text change is not defined. I'm just going to call that X. Let's see what that is. console.log x. All right, so I want to log this to the console. This is an iPhone. How do I log that to the iPhone doesn't have a console. So what I can do is I come to my simulator. I think it's Command Shift Z. Command Z, Shift Z. I want to shake it. So where is it? Device.
Is it Command D?
Command D.
I think so.
That's not working.
It was right there on the device.
Device.
It's in the middle.
Command Shift Z. So I could do that device, and then shake it. I would just memorize this one. Command Shift Z. Oh, sorry, it's Command Control Z. That was it. Command Control Z. Then that pops up this window. This has nice things like I can reload. I can do some show inspector, but what I want to do is I want to debug with Chrome. And what that does is that opens up a Chrome browser window. And now when I type something in here and do my inspect, see now it's logging those that this is where I can see my logs. What's it like? Here. So if I come in here, I'm clicking on this, I'm logging those logs. So Control Command Z, or if you forget you just find the thing that says shake, because you're kind of, and that's how like if you do have like a shake feature in your app, like that's doing Control Command Z is going to like simulate a shake event. You can also like rotate your phone if you want to, but we're going to do everything as just normal. Cool. There we go. So I'm logging this synthetic event. So that's a lot like we get with the React Native. So let's see if I do x.event or x.target. So this is just the event. So I could call that E. In React, it's e.target.value. That might not be the same because this is not a HTML input. So if I come in here and type this stuff, I don't want to do that there. That's getting undefined. So how do they handle it? Right here, just look at their documentation. On change text, it looks like they just give it the text input. They just give it this their use state hook. Then yeah, we can come down here further and just look at these. Like this looks like it takes the event count, target, and text. So this is an object. So here's that native event, which is an object. It also looks like, so it looks like we could just from here, from this documentation, pull off the text right here. Throw those in parentheses. see if that works. Clear this. I'll get rid of a lot of this here. Nope, that is still undefined. Let's see if we can find that. Let's go back to E. There's our synthetic event. I want to find where the text is. It's so difficult. Let's try this on change text as well. Let's call this one on change text. Because it looks like they have two event handlers. So they have these on change and on change text. Okay. So the on change text, that one you just pass a function that will log whatever the text is in there. Still trying to figure out this on change one. Oh, maybe I need to just structure the native event. Okay, let's try it like this. Let's take this. Nope. Oh, well, E is not defined. It's console.log text here. There we go. So that's the two ways how we could get the text from here. This one gives us some other information like event count, target, and then also the native event. So if all we're really concerned about is getting the text that's in our input, we can just use the on change text. I have a little, okay, so let's do a little JavaScript test right here though, or like a quiz. So we finally right here figured out how to log the text with this kind of syntax they gave us. But earlier I was using this X variable. How would I grab the text with you just using the X variable, but knowing this kind of signature?
Would it be x dot native event dot text?
Yeah, let's try that. X.native event dot text. Because that's what we're doing here. We're destructuring, first we're destructuring the native event from the object that's in this function, and then we destructure these three things from that. So we save that, yo. Then we're logging that twice because we have those two handlers. So that's what that syntax is right there. Cool. So now we have some input. Let's kind of go out, like figure off their documentation. What if we want to add a button or like a click handler? Well, there is a button component that we could use. There's also a touchable opacity that's pretty commonly used that gives you a nice little like effect, like a kind of this animation. So let's go ahead and use the touchable opacity here and do a click. So that just has a on press. Let's go ahead and do a button or touchable opacity. Touchable, let's pull this right, touchable opacity, import that from React Native. This has a on press handler. Let's just say like this is like our submit button. So we need to define this handle submit. And then for the touchable opacity, we just throw some text inside of there. And close that off. And see when I click on that add, it gives me that little highlight effect when I press on it. Let's do a console.log, pressed. So we're getting that clicked. So let's say like on this handle submit, I want to get the value from my input. I want to log the value of my input. Well, how do we do that with React?
Use state.
Yeah, we need some state in our app, so I can just use my state. So just call this input and then set input equals use state. I need to import use state from React. Yeah, I'm just going to comment this one out just so we have that reference, but we don't need two change handlers. And then here in my text change text, that is a weird. And just to be more clear, I could probably just call that text. Then we can go set input to our text. And then our handle submit, then we can console.log input. So hello, and then let's click add. And there we go. Let's say, I mean, we don't have an API set up, but let's say we did. How do you think we do an API call here?
Can we use Axios, or is there a different tool?
Yeah, we can use, let's see if we can use Axios. So we can just come into our app. yarn add Axios. Cool. There we go. We have Axios added. So yeah, now I could just make this function async. And then do a try catch. Let response equal await. Yeah, and then Axios dot post. API slash. I mean, we do not have this set up. Actually, let's do this. Let's go to let's actually use a actual API, a dummy one. We can use this rec res one in and do a post. So if I do a post to API users and give it like a name and a job object, I should get back some of that data. So I'm going to do, what is this URL? This is not the full URL. It's this. It's recres in API slash users. I'll throw that out in Slack. Now this isn't probably actually going to save to a database, but it's at least going to simulate. Like I'm hitting, this is an actual like server being held like on a different computer somewhere. And then I want to pass some data. So I want to pass like the name, or what did I want to pass? I forgot already what it wanted. It needed the name and job. So I'll just say name's going to be equal to the input. Then the job is, I'll just hard code deb. Here we can just console.log a response. Did I import? Yeah, I need, so I import Axios. Just make this async, do an async await, just posting to a third-party API. Let's see if we can log the response. So let's give it a name. Let's do Joe Doe. Let's add that. There's my data. There's a 201. And yeah, I'm getting back that response. What if we want to add, like when this component mounts, we want to do get the list of users. Is this any different than how we've been doing it? And the answer is no. So how do we do that? We do our use effect. So use effect. We just want this to happen on mount. So we'll do a empty dependency array. We'll just say get users. So use effects not defined. So we can import use effect. We can define this get data or get users function. This one's going to be async as well, because this is going to be an Axios call. once again, just do our try catch. Then we could do our let res equal axios.get. We'll make that into weight. And I think this is the same URL as the post, but it's a GET request. Pretty sure, yeah. API, oh, API users, then we can give it a page. API users, page equals 2. What is this question mark page equal to? What is the server going to get on the backend side? If this was a Rails server, how could you access this value if you send a URL like this? Like if you're in your controller, how do I get this value to?
Params page.
Yeah, I could do a params page. And then the value would be 2. So that's one way we can send parameters to the back end. I don't know if they're using Rails, but if they are using Rails, they'll be able to do params page and see that we want page 2. And then we can console.log response here. So this is not showing anything. Something I would do just right off the bat if it's not showing. I do have a bump, like, does everyone see this thing pop up? I do have, this is kind of like your terminal. This might show you some errors as well. This is like where your React Native project's being built every time you make a change. But I don't really see anything inside of here that's telling me like you see, for example, here's like a syntax error from a while back ago. But if I don't see anything popping up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a Control Command Z. Oh my gosh, this is completely frozen. Let's see. Yeah, my Command Control Z is not working. Let's shake. Oh yeah, that's kind of commented out. What's going on here? You can do a Command R2 to reload it. Something you can also try to do, just like you would, like this might seem like it's like frozen or something. So something I can do is kind of like force quit this app. This can kind of be a little hard to do on the emulator, but does anyone know how to do that? Like on an iPhone, if you don't have an iPhone, you want to like swipe up on this and then get your apps like this. And then if you swipe up, that kind of like quits your app. So then that way, when you reload it, it like actually reloads it. So that's like an iPhone thing of like how to quit an app. So just to review how I did that, this can be a little tricky because you gotta like reach this little tab and you don't go all the way up, you go like halfway up. See, you go like a quarter of the way up. And now you'll see all your open apps. And if you want to quit them, then you select it and swipe up. And then that way, the next time you reload it, or open it up, it actually like reloads it. Because sometimes, like you just saw, like my app wasn't working, and it's kind of like you want to go to your browser and like hit like reload, or you want to quit your browser and like reopen it up. So what I wanted to see is on mount, are we getting back our data? And yes, we are. We have res.data. Here's our res.data, and within there, there's a data object. So res.data is going to be that array of people. So if I want to render these people, I'm going to just exactly like I would with React. I could have like some users, state, set users. So that's going to be an empty array. So here I can just set my users. And remember, this was coming back as my users are actually res.data.data. That's just how rec.res, this API is sending them back. And then here I can have like a render users function. And let's do like a users.map. Let's go through each user. And let's return. So I'm not going to do a div, I'm going to do a view. Let's just do some text. Let's do user dot, I believe they all have an email. Let's just look really quick. Yeah, they have an email. So let's just grab the email. Maybe first name. And then maybe before my input, I can call this render users function. It's not rendering them because I'm not returning this. Cool, let's add a little style here. Styles.container. I'm going to call this, we already have a container. I'm going to call this like maybe user container. Let's call this like, I don't know, user card or something. So now I'm just going to do a little styling. So const or like user card. Let's give this a width of like 100%. And a height. Let's just give it some margin. Let's do 20 and some padding. You know, just for a demo, I'm going to just give this, I'm just going to make these tall height. Let's make these like big, like 150. And then I'm going to give these, let's just give them a border so we can see them. Now, something that I don't know is apparent to you right now, but I have more than 3 users. I could do, just to show this, I could right here in the text area, just a text, just do users.length. Users.length. See, I have 6 users. I'm only showing 3. And I'm trying to like click on this and scroll, but it's not working. So I'm unable to see these users. So if it's kind of a weird thing with this native development, if I want to be able to scroll, I need to use that other common component that we saw in their like core components. Something called this scroll view. Provides a scrolling container that can host multiple components and views. So actually, if I want to be able to scroll, then I need to throw that in there. So let's maybe throw our scroll view right here after the hello scroll view. Import that. And now everything that I want to have scrollable, I'm just going to wrap inside of this. So I'm just going to go all the way down. Maybe this one. Oh, I have an extra tag right there. And there we go. So I threw the scroll view within my container, which has that padding. Now really probably what I want to do is just have this scroll view wrap that container view. Now I get a better UX with that, or UI. But now I can scroll. Gives you that nice. And part of the reason we need this component, it's like there is another scroll view, but this also gives us like the nice like native bounce effect like that iOS is going to have. Android's is going to be different. But by default, the nice thing about native development, it's going to it's when we render these components to the iPhone, they're going to use kind of the iPhone's features. Like we get the iPhone scroll bar. It has that natural like with the phone, you can like how fast you scroll determines how fast it's going to go. So that's native to the device. Cool. Let's just really quickly, so we have our input. We click a user's name. Maybe I could say like name to make this clear. Let's just do one more thing and then we'll take a break. So when I hit like enter or when I click add, I want to add this user to my UI. Because when we log that, we do get back this object. We get like a name and a job. It doesn't match exactly our user, but I think we can kind of make it work. Because remember, our user has like an email and first name. This doesn't match, but what we'll do is we'll just kind of fake it. So when we handle submit, what I could do here is just set users. Let's give it a new array where this new object I'm going to put like, I want an email because I'm using an email. Let's just do res.data.name. And I'm going to interpolate this actually. Because I'm going to add a @email.com. And then we're just going to give it a name. Should just be res.data.name. Getting my closing bracket here. I'll do this. I'm going to say like, since this is getting messy, I can just say let new user equal this object. And then I can add the new user to this new array and then spread out over users. yeah, this was actually to match this, to match how our data is coming back. It needs to be first underscore name. So within an hour, I mean, we didn't set up this API. It's kind of just a dummy API, but we're doing an Axios call, grabbing data or rendering that data. We have a, you know, fake post call where we're actually doing an Axios call to a database. We're sending that data, we're getting back some fake data, and then we're adding it to our UI. So we've done like half of our CRUD actions. You know, we've added an image, we've done some styling. But when we look at this code, this is a, like, it's not React. I mean, some of it is React, it's React Native, so there's some differences, but this is very much the same, don't you think? There's nothing too crazy going on here that's like really new. So this is the nice thing about React Native and React. Like when you know one, you really know the other. There are the differences. For example, like, you know, the inputs, these are different. These are not HTML inputs. This is React Native, so their event handlers are going to be a little different. We have something like this touchable opacity. Like we don't have a form, right? We don't have like this form component. Just have some inputs, and then we just have a button. We don't have any HTML attributes. We don't have like paragraphs or divs. This is all React Native components. Styling's a little different. This is not CSS, but it's very similar to CSS. It's written very similar to how we've been doing it. But, you know, we use like our hooks the same, like use state, use effect. Those are all done the same. Our Axios calls are all done the same. Kind of this idea of like updating our UI. So yeah. Let's, let me Slack this out. This is, I think, the only thing we've changed. So I'll Slack out this app.js as is. But yeah, are there any questions on this so far? It's pretty cool because you're already like, can consider, like, you give yourself some time with React Native. So here's the good thing about React Native. It's going to make you a mobile developer. So that opens up a lot of opportunities. It's going to make you better with JavaScript because it's just more JavaScript practice. It's going to make you better with React because it is essentially just React. So you get better at React, you get better at React Native, you get better at JavaScript. Then you can do web and mobile development. Cool. Let's take a break. Let's come back at 11:50.
Sounds good.
Let me know if you're having any issues.